Hey everybody, it's Peg from Living There. We have a new video interview for you today, and it's John from the Pacific Northwest. He has a YouTube channel called Hey Dad. I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description below, so just scroll down after you've watched the video and expand the description because it's usually only about that much showing, and click on the link and check out his channel if you want to. So I'm going to put a pin in the map. The Pacific Northwest is comprised of Washington State and Oregon. So I'm just going to put this on the border of those two states. Right about there. So let's take a look at John's interview.
Hi, my name's John. My YouTube channel is Hey Dad, and I live in the Pacific Northwest. And I want to thank Peg for allowing me to participate in her new channel. And I'm really happy to share about the place where I have lived for the last 40 years. So first of all, let me define it. The Pacific Northwest, at least in local terms, is the states of Washington and Oregon. And in my case, is the I-5 corridor from the Canadian border south through Seattle and down into Portland and Eugene, that sort of area. We are the wet side of the Pacific Northwest. The other side of the Cascade Mountains is quite dry, so boiling hot in the summer and icy cold in the winter, but our side is a little bit more moderate, and that's how we define the Pacific Northwest. And it's an area I love. So what brought me here? 40 years ago, I had a reputation amongst my friends as being a 40-year-old man in a 20-year-old body. And I wanted to shake that up. They were right. I was not very spontaneous. I was very planful. I was very organized. I was just old for my years. And I decided what I would do that was spontaneous is I would simply move to a new city where I had never been before. And I came to the decision, chose Seattle as a reasonable city that I had not been to before and affordable, and I thought I could get a job there. And 2 weeks later, I was gone. It was just really spur of the moment thing. And interestingly, I have not regretted it since. I immediately loved Seattle as soon as I moved here. It was a great adventure. I fell in love with so much about it. And what has gotten me to stay is basically I put down roots here. I established within about the first year or two, a lot of really good friendships. And in the next few years, my family started moving up here as well. So we were all born and raised, my siblings and I, in San Diego. So we grew up in a kind of Southern California lifestyle with beaches and deserts. But it never really fit any of us. And my brother was the first that moved to the Northwest to go to the University of Washington. I soon followed him. And then my sisters followed, my parents followed. We all eventually left San Diego and all found that the Pacific Northwest really fit us better. We stayed because we put down roots here. We love that there are 4 seasons here. You know, summers are warm and dry. Springs are filled with flowers and blooming and trees leafing out. Winter can sometimes have snow, although not very much. And it's just a really, really wonderful place to experience life in a green and growing area that has 4 seasons. And that's what's kept me and my family here now for 30 to 40 years. Question 2, what's something you love about living there and something you feel special or underrated? I love the geography of the Pacific Northwest. There are mountains and volcanoes The views of Mount Rainier, Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens are spectacular and unique in the lower 48. There are forests everywhere, rivers that actually flow with water year-round. I was not used to that, being from Southern California. You can be boating in the afternoon after skiing in the morning. It's got great skiing, great boating, water skiing, sailing, tons of hiking opportunities. It is really spectacular. And then within a couple hours is the dry side of the states. It's desert. It's high desert, basically, with wine growing regions in Washington. It's just spectacular. The geography is very special. And I also grew to love the culture here. Great theater, great symphonies, opera, popular music concerts, museums of every sort. Really, really spectacular culture. So that's why we stayed. We really loved everything about it. Okay, what is the hardest or most surprising thing about living here? The hardest thing about the Pacific Northwest is, I think people will find this as accurate or predictable, is the weather. There are lots of places in the United States that get more precipitation than we do in the Seattle-Portland areas. We get about 40 inches a year. But places like, Houston, New Orleans, Washington, D.C., I think even New York City, get more precipitation than we do. The thing is, in the Pacific Northwest, on the west side of the mountains, it's gray a lot. We have a lot of just gray days. We might get just a sprinkle, but it's cloudy all day. And we can go easily a month and a half in winter without seeing the sun. That is not unusual, or rarely seeing it. But that also means that it is very green here. It is green and beautiful. And when I first moved up here from Southern California, I was amazed by how much people loved spring in the Pacific Northwest. There are flowers everywhere: daffodils, tulips, cherry trees. This is not something you experience much in Southern California. People would go buy flowers and put them on their desks at work. I got into always having a vase of fresh flowers in spring at my home. It was just tremendous how people got into the changes of the seasons, especially spring and then summer. And I think that's one of the things that's really surprising to me, was that embrace of the seasons. But one of the negative things that was a little bit more surprising, in my naivete, is the cost of living here is higher than average. It's not higher than Southern California. There are many places that are higher for housing and gas and taxes, but it is higher than average. So that makes it an expensive place. Housing especially is quite expensive here in the Northwest. And so that makes it difficult to handle and difficult to move here. If you're moving from a place where cost of living is lower, it can come as quite a shock, not just the cloudy weather, but the costs. Okay, number 4, would you share one or more monthly expenses with us? So one of the things that I want to share in terms of expense here is the cost of electricity. Coming from Southern California, where all the power supply companies, all electricity is from private corporations, and very, very high. It was not unusual, even in the 80s, for an apartment dweller to pay $120 a month in electricity costs. Up here, the cost of electricity is a bit lower, and I was really pleased by that. Right now, I live in a 3-bedroom house, and my electric bill, even in summer with air conditioning, is about $120. That is in today's dollars, and it does reflect that, I have a modern home, built in the early 2000s, so it's pretty well insulated, but it is a lot lower than what I experienced in Southern California. And part of that is our proximity to hydroelectric dams. Like 95% of our electricity is hydroelectric. So it's very green, it's got a very small carbon footprint, and most of the, well, I don't know if it's most, but many of the major areas in the Pacific Northwest have public power supply companies. They are public utilities. They are not for profit. And so their cost, along with a hydroelectric that was established mostly in the 30s through the 50s, their cost tends to be lower. So I was really pleased with that. Okay, if someone were thinking about moving there, what's one piece of advice you would give them? Okay, if you're thinking of moving to the Pacific Northwest, whether it be Portland or Seattle, suburbs, or the rural side of Western Washington and Western Oregon, I would say you need to be prepared for the weather. You need to be prepared that in January, February, March, and even up into April, you're going to get tired of the gray, cloudy days and the rain. Even if it's light rain, it's constant. And it does get oppressive, which is one reason I usually travel in February or March to get a dose of sunshine from someplace like Southern California, Hawaii, Arizona. But it does get oppressive for many of us. We get blue. Once June comes, I would say, it's a lot better. And we have wonderful, you've never seen a better summer than in the Pacific Northwest. It is sunny, it is warm, it is dry. You can count on dryness for most of June and all of July, August, and September. And the rains come back maybe around mid-October when the leaves start to change colors. And that's the time we're in now. We're in November. The leaves are dropping, leaves are everywhere, and the rain has returned. So I would say that's the thing you need to be really prepared for. I'd also say that you need to be an outdoors kind of person. In the Northwest, it's expected that you will be going for walks and hikes with friends, getting out on the water, going skiing. Being outdoorsy is kind of a part of the Pacific Northwest culture, and it's really expected. And it'll be easier to make friends if that's a kind of activity that you are really into doing. So that is my take on living here. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful place. I've never regretted moving here. And I'm basically retired now, and I'm staying in the Northwest with the occasional winter trip to someplace sunny. Thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure.
John, thank you so much for that great interview about the Pacific Northwest. I have visited there a few times, and I've only been there in the summer when it is gorgeous. It's beautiful, like you said, it's green and lush. A big contrast to where I live in the Southwest Desert. So I think you gave us a really good idea about what it's like living there, and I appreciate it. So check out John's channel, Hey Dad, and stay tuned. We'll be back with a new interview whenever I get it ready. Thanks, everybody. Bye.